Everybody saying hello. But Bama Boy, yeah, Bama Boy, he said that's opening day. So Bama Boy is a Falcon fan. That's August 26th is the first preseason game in the new stadium. So that's what he is referring to. So there's gonna be a lot going on. August 20. Wait a minute. Yeah, I think so. Yeah. If I remember right, August 26th is the opening of the new Falcon Stadium, the Benzo. I'm not calling it by its real name because some other team calls that, uses that name. But the Benzo will be open. Let's see. The South is the Dirty Birds for a while, so they just in here talking some trash. JB Jennings said, "Bama, it's the Bucks' time." JB Jennings, here's the thing. The Bucks scare me. I don't know if it's their time just yet, but they are knocking on the door. Please don't let last year fool y'all. Y'all had some struggles, but y'all had some good, games that y'all played. And I think the good games that you saw the Bucks play, that's more what they are. And the scary situation is that Doug Martin really didn't have a good season at all. They did not have a guy like Deshaun Jackson. You had Vincent Jackson, and he's not Deshaun Jackson. And at your tight end spot, although Cameron Brate did pretty good, for them, this guy O.J. Howard is supposed to be the real deal. So O.J. Howard and Cameron Brate, you could run a two tight end set. I mean, and those guys, could probably get open. Doug and Jaquiz is there, so you got some quality backfield. And Jameis seems to be getting better every year. And this could be the year that Jameis takes off. So they are knocking on the door. I don't know if they're there just yet. They're going to have to match a lot of firepower in the NFC South. I don't know if the Panthers really is going to be that firepower, team or anything like that. But definitely Atlanta, definitely, New Orleans is trying to put up points. So we will see what happens with there. But they are definitely, stepping up in the right direction. And the defense, you're right, JB. He said defense should take another step too. Yeah, so the defense is also moving in the right direction. So we got off topic a little bit, but that's why on the Wait a Minute show we get off the rail a little bit. If somebody want to talk about something and we go into it, we can go into it a little bit and then get back on track. So back on track. Anybody see the 30 for 30, last night about Boston and LA? Very interesting story as far as and I liked it because they took the teams, but then they tied in the timeline with the teams as far as the timeline of what was happening in the United States and how things were, changing and how it tied in, some of it to basketball, especially how they were talking about, how folks in Boston treated, black people. And then, I didn't even know, I had heard, but they confirmed it last night. I didn't know Red Auerbach found a loophole and drafted Larry Bird the year before he came out. So he basically had Larry Bird locked up, and didn't have to do anything. I didn't know Magic was hanging out with Jerry Buss like they were stepbrothers or something like that. And that whole, thing that was going on with the team behind the scenes and the riff. I knew they had a problem with the coach and Paul Westhead, but I didn't know that, the players was kind of not feeling, Magic. But it was, again, very entertaining. It ties into some of the stuff that I was saying, when we were talking about how Golden State and Cleveland, they always there and nobody else, there's no parity and everything. If you watched the show last night, I only saw Philadelphia, Houston, the LA Lakers, and Boston. It seemed like those were the only teams that was always in it to go to the finals. I really don't remember anybody else, in it. So it worked out, pretty fine. But, going back to the Lakers and the Celtics, you got a feel for, where Magic came from, where Bird came from, their storyline, how that whole thing came about them being rivals. And then, from college on to the pros, even, some of the moves that like Red Auerbach made, like the draft picks that they got the first round draft pick, and everybody thought the Celtics were going to take Joe Barry Carroll, and he picks up Kevin McHale, and he trades that number one overall pick for a guy named Robert Parrish. And I mean, just some of the moves and how they made those moves were amazing, back in the day. And you can respect that. So that was a very, 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 all 30-30s are good, but that was just very interesting, and how they tied in again, the timeline of how, America was changing with what the basketball teams, were doing, how things were different, totally different, how much the teams really, really hated each other, just how all the other players came into play when Magic got drafted, but they got Kareem from Milwaukee, and then then they drafted guys like Byron Scott, and then James Worthy. I forgot that they weren't there at the same time. When they picked up those players. So very, very interesting story. If you haven't seen it, you need to check it out. You can go. I'm sure it's online somewhere, and you can follow it. It was a 2-part series, and if you're not a Laker fan or a Boston fan, you may hate it. But if you're a basketball fan, you should love it. Love. We're gonna go with love for our next topic. So we talked about the Golden State Warriors being the champions, and again, you're listening to the Wait a Minute Show with your host Jelani JB Bodie. But do you think the Warriors are going to get any love from the house? Yeah, that house, the White House. Now, they said there hasn't been an invitation sent just yet for the Warriors to come to the White House, being that they're the champs. But there's a chance that there may not be anybody at the White House anyway. Iguodala has already been, leaning towards not going. Steph has had some critical comments where he probably won't be going. Steve Kerr has as well. So should there even be an invite? Like, is this more of a foregone conclusion? Like, look, why are we calling them? They not coming. The only person that's going to be there probably is Jaja and JaVale McGee, and we ain't trying to, hold up a ceremony for 2 people, it's their right. Again, I'm going to say that it's not an obligation. It's more, icing on the cake from winning the championship. But I think it's best that the Warriors probably don't go. I don't know if Trump could hold his tongue. He probably can, but I will say he might not be able to hold. He probably can hold it in public, but they've been, going back and forth, and this. I mean, it just wouldn't be a good look. Let's just say that it wouldn't be a good look. Nobody would be happy being there. Nobody would, be able to play that. Oh, we got this special jersey for you. Nah. They would rather not give them jersey. They'd rather just say, show me around, or they'd rather probably go, somewhere else. But Big L said, F Trump in the White House. Be careful, Big L. You know how he on Twitter. He'll hit you up. Mocha says Steve Kerr isn't a 45 fan, to say the least. Mocha, yes, he is not a 45 fan. Bama Boy already said the Warriors not going. I guarantee. And Big L said, I hope so, Bama Boy. So Big L's not a fan of the 45 as well. The Pittsburgh Penguins won the Stanley Cup. You think they're gonna go? Yeah, I think they're gonna go, Mocha. I think I think they already been extended a invite. No. I'm sorry. No, it was someone was Clemson was there 2 days ago. That's what it was. Clemson went a couple days ago, so they showed up to the White House. I don't think there was any, surprise there or anything like that because there really wasn't no drama. But I think the Penguins will go. I just think basketball teams will probably be the one, and certain football teams, but definitely basketball teams will be, the problem. I know who won't be going there. Whoever the champions of the 3-on-3 league, they won't be going to the White House, because none of them is probably they probably banned from the White House. But Cedric Galloway, shout out to Cedric Galloway, just stopped in. He said Warriors won't be able to hide their displeasure at the White House. Yeah, that's what we were just saying. They won't. It could go bad. That's my fear. It's my fear that Trump might say something, Kerr might say something, and then it's just like we're gonna have to shut this down early, and that's not what you want. You don't want to take away from what these guys accomplish, and make a good situation a bad scene, but if they do go out, that's one I'll be watching that one. I normally don't watch when teams, go to the White House. I haven't, I think the only one I really watched was when the Cubs went, and that was just because they hadn't won in over 100 years. So I wanted to see that one. But no other team, even teams that I rooted for, I never watched them, go to the White House. It's just, all right, have fun, don't get in trouble. Don't get beat up by Secret Service. So, last I want to talk about before I get on up out of here is incentives. And there's two incentives. Just recently, Don Terry Poe and Eddie Lacy has been in the news, and they're receiving these incentives that are weight related. So Eddie Lacy, if he came in under a particular weight, he got a bonus of $55,000. Don Terry Poe, he got an incentive as well. This is Don Terry Poe for the Atlanta Falcons, and Eddie Lacy plays for the Seattle Seahawks. So Don Terry Poe got $125,000 for coming to camp underweight. So is that really a good idea? That's my question. Because are you setting yourself up for failure on that? Now, I think Eddie's is set up to where it's 3 payments and it goes throughout the season or midway through the season for him to get his money. But do you really want a guy that you're going to be depending on incentivized with money about their weight? I don't know. And that's just a question. I'm not saying that I'm leaning towards I'm for it. I'm not saying I'm leaning towards being against it. I'm just wondering. It's just like, I guess other jobs is if you perform at a certain task or a budget or whatever, you get a bonus. So I guess maybe it's the same thing as that, but I just don't know. I mean, what weight you need to be at to be effective. And why should your bonus be tacked into that? Maybe the money is what does, keep them, straight, but how about, no, I ain't going to say that because I ain't trying to mess with nobody's money, but I'm just saying, I'm a little worried, that because if I see Don Terry and he's blowing up and he's getting overweight, and then he's not getting his bonus, then maybe he gets, upset. Upset is not the right word, but he may get a little agitated or a little, perturbed, and then things change, and you're not getting that money where, maybe you were getting that money before. That's why I'm getting at, but we shall see, because 125,000, 55,000. That's a lot of money. That can pay for a lot. That could pay some bills, you know.